In 2026, history isn't just being written. It's being deleted, rewritten, and purged from the Pentagon all the way to New York City Hall.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Today is Sunday, January 18th, 2026. And if you've been looking at the government landscape, well, polarized doesn't really begin to cover it.
That might be the understatement of the year. I mean, we are watching a tug of war over the official record of the United States, and the rope is just snapping.
It really is. And the central battleground seems to be those three letters, D, E, and I.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And our mission for this deep dive is to unpack two massive scrubbing operations happening right now at the same time.
Okay.
But they are moving in totally opposite directions.
It's like watching two different movies playing on the same screen. It's wild.
Yeah, on one side you have the federal government under the new administration and these DOGE protocols, and they're using algorithms to just wipe DEI off the map.
And then on the other side, you've got the new Socialist administration in New York City. They're frantically trying to install equity leaders while, scrubbing their own digital pasts.
And we have a huge stack of sources today. We're looking at internal reports from the Department of Government Efficiency, that's DOGE plus DOD instructions, reporting from the New York Sun Town Hall.
And even some leaked Reddit threads, which are pretty revealing.
It's a wild mix. So you have the feds deleting history because it's woke, and NYC deleting history because it's inconvenient. Let's start at the top, the federal level.
The Pentagon story.
The Pentagon story. This broke about 48 hours ago, and when I first saw the headline, I thought it had to be a typo.
You mean the Jackie Robinson story?
Yes. The Department of Defense deleted 14 out of 18 articles about a baseball legend from government websites, Jackie Robinson.
It sounds completely crazy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But to understand why, you have to look at the mechanics of it. This wasn't a person in a desk saying, I hate baseball.
Right.
This was a machine.
But how does a machine decide Jackie Robinson is, prohibited content?
Oh, it all comes down to the tags. One of the deleted URLs about him was modified to include the tag DEI, just those three letters at the end of the link.
Wow.
Now, the DoD is claiming these were mistaken removals. They're blaming a search term scrubbing process. But that tells you everything. The DOGE protocols aren't using a scalpel, they're using a bulldozer.
So because Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, and that story gets used in diversity training, the algorithm just flags him as DEI content.
Exactly. And he's just one data point. This is part of a massive removal of, something like 26,000 images and articles.
Yeah.
And it's not random. It's following this very specific playbook we found in that internal DOGE report.
The federal DEI Purge protocol.
That's what they call it.
It sounds like something out of a movie, the Purge protocol. Can you break that down for us? How do you even delete an ideology?
Well, the report lays out three phases. Phase 1 was the shock and awe. It kicked off on Inauguration Day, January 20th of last year. Immediate rescission of executive orders, dissolving all the DEI offices, firing the staff in those specific roles. The easy part.
Right. Pulling the plug.
Exactly. But we're in phase 2 now. Or at least we're seeing the fallout from it. This is where it gets a lot more granular. This is the hunt for corrupted employees.
Corrupted. That's a very specific word choice. It sounds like they're talking about a computer virus.
That's precisely the mindset. They weren't just looking for people with diversity in their job title anymore. They were looking for anyone who participated in the initiatives.
How do you even track that?
The report explicitly mentions DOGE searching through agency databases, specifically NOAA, the weather agency, to find employees who were associated with these activities.
Oh, so they're digging through the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's servers, people who study hurricanes and fish, to see who went to a lunchtime seminar on inclusion.
Essentially, yes. And that leads directly to phase 3. The mass-scale firings of anyone determined to be DEI-related, and the criteria for that are, let's just say they're a bit foggy.
And when you use blunt tools like that, you get collateral damage. We mentioned Jackie Robinson, but the casualty list in these sources is it's shocking.
It really is. The Navajo code talkers, absolute heroes of World War II, their content was deleted.
Let me guess. Because the word Navajo implies a specific ethnic group.
Navajo was flagged by the automated process as a DEI initiative. Same thing happened to the 442nd Infantry Regiment.
The Japanese-American unit, the most decorated in history for its size.
Gone. Because highlighting a segregated unit is now apparently promoting identity politics. But
Yes.
the most bizarre one, it has to be the Enola Gay.
The B-29 bomber, the plane that ended the war.
Flagged and removed.
Why? Because of the name.
Because of the word gay. The algorithm doesn't know it was named after the pilot's mother, Enola Gay Tibbets. It just sees a prohibited keyword and scrubs it. They also pulled photos of female scientists at NASA.
Okay, I want to pause here. Because it's easy to look at this and just say, this is incompetence. But we have to look at the intent described in the town hall reporting and the administration's own statements. There is a rationale here, right?
That is the crucial distinction. From their perspective, this isn't erasing history. It's a correction. They view the previous administration's focus on equity as fundamentally wasteful and ideological.
The old argument that diversity hires means incompetence.
Right. The president has been very vocal about that. But it's deeper. They're effectively reinterpreting civil rights protections to argue that the focus on equity was creating, in their words, anti-white racism.
So by scrubbing these mentions, they believe they're returning the government to a neutral or colorblind stance.
Exactly. Even if that means using a scorched earth policy that accidentally wipes out Medal of Honor recipients, they see it as the cost of removing what they consider a toxic ideology.
It's a high price for neutrality. But let's flip the coin. Because while D.C. is trying to scrub woke content, New York City has a new administration doing the exact opposite. But they're running into their own scrubbing scandals.
Yeah, let's talk about Mayor Mamdani, Democratic Socialist elected on this platform of racial equity. But his rollout has been, well, chaotic is being polite.
It's like a case study in failing to vet your own people.
It really is. I mean, look at Catherine Alante DaCosta.
She was the director of appointments, so she's literally the gatekeeper for hiring.
And she lasted, what was it, exactly 24 hours?
One day.
One day. Because Town Hall and some internet sleuths dug up her old tweets from 2011, 2012. And we're not talking about, policy disagreements. She had posted comments calling people money-hungry Jews and referring to the Jew train.
Which is just indefensible. There's
Right.
no context for that.
None. And that's the irony, right? You have an administration preaching inclusion, and their head of appointments was publicly spewing anti-Semitic hate speech. It just completely undermines them.
And she wasn't the only one. This brings us to the new Chief Equity Officer, Afua Adamensa.
Right. Now, she didn't resign, but her reaction was very telling. As soon as she was appointed, she deleted her entire social media presence, wiped it totally clean.
Which, in this day and age, is basically an admission of, I said some things I don't want my boss to see.
Of course, nothing is ever truly gone. Reddit users and Town Hall had already archived her posts. She had a history of reposting comments that disparaged liberal white women. There was one specific phrase about taxing them to the white meat.
Taxing them to the white meat. That is visceral.
It's aggressive language. And for conservative critics, this is the smoking gun. Town Hall framed this as race-based government policy. Their argument is, look, you say you're fighting systemic racism, but you're hiring people with a clear racial animus.
It actually feeds right back into the federal argument, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If the equity officer in NYC is posting things like that, it gives the DOGE team in D.C. all the ammunition they need to say, see, this is why we're purging these roles.
Precisely. The actions in NYC are used to justify the crackdown in D.C., but the scrubbing in New York goes beyond personal accounts. This is where it gets legally tricky. Mayor Mamdani is accused of scrubbing official government records.
The tweets from the last mayor, Eric Adams.
Yes. On day one, Mamdani's office allegedly deleted official tweets from the Adams administration about Jewish safety and the mayor's office to combat anti-Semitism.
Why would you delete that? Especially when your own staff is getting hit with anti-Semitism scandals. It seems politically insane.
It does. And the National Jewish Advocacy Center accused him of violating the New York Arts and Cultural Affairs Law.
Which forbids destroying public records.
Exactly. You can't just delete the previous guy's work because you don't like him. They're public records. They belong to the taxpayer.
So we have this situation where everybody's just hitting the delete button. The feds to erase an ideology, NYC to erase the past. Let's zoom out a bit, because this raises a huge question about digital rights and transparency.
Right. Like, when does a tweet become a federal record?
Well, we have this source here, DOD Instruction 5400.17. It's the military's rulebook on social media, and it actually tries to draw a line.
It tries. The distinction is official versus personal. If you run an official account, like at Depth of Defense or at NYC Mayor, that's government speech. You have zero free speech rights there.
Okay, so that explains why Mamdani deleting the official Adams tweets is a potential legal problem.
Correct. But then you have personal accounts. DaCosta's old tweets, Adamense's comments, those were personal.
But they still got DaCosta fired.
Because of conduct unbecoming. And this creates a massive catch-22 for anyone in government in 2026. I mean, think about the trap.
Okay, walk me through it.
If you leave your old content up, like DaCosta did, you can be fired for conduct unbecoming when someone digs it up a decade later.
Right.
But if you delete it, like Mamdani and the DOD are doing, you get accused of violating records management laws and transparency standards.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Scrub it, and you're hiding something. Don't scrub it, and the truth gets you fired.
And that's why outlets like the New York Sun frame this whole thing as a violation of public trust. They argue that whether it's the DOD deleting Jackie Robinson or Mamdani deleting Jewish safety posts, it's an ideological assault. It feels less like governing and more like curating.
Curating reality.
Exactly. I mean, governing should be about the future. But right now, both sides are obsessed with editing the past. The federal government is using AI to scour servers for the word diversity like it's a virus.
And in NYC, they're hiring people who seem to despise huge chunks of their own constituency and then trying to hit delete on the evidence.
It creates this profound sense of instability. If you're a citizen, you look at the federal website and the history of the Navajo Code talkers is just gone. You look at City Hall's feed and a pledge to protect Jewish New Yorkers is gone.
That makes you wonder what, if anything, is permanent.
Nothing is permanent if it's digital, and that's the core danger. The official record is supposed to be the truth. It's supposed to be what happened.
When the government starts treating the public record like a Google Doc that can be edited to fit the current mood, we lose our shared reality.
It shows that whoever holds the keys to the server room really holds the keys to history.
You had a very sobering thought. We are watching history get deleted in real time. So here's a final thought for you to chew on as you go about your Sunday.
Let's hear it.
If the federal government can delete the Tuskegee Airmen because they don't fit a new policy, and a mayor can delete promises of safety because they came from a rival, are we looking at a future where the official record is nothing more than the current administration's diary?
A diary that gets burned every 4 years.
A terrifying thought. We'll be keeping an eye on the servers, or what's left of them. Thanks for diving in with us.
Catch you next time.